So I don't have a lot of time. Today is a very full day for me. I have a lot going on today. Multiple appointments for my spouse, all that jazz. Um, you know, yay. But I am a little less depressing than last time. This will probably be a short recording, but um, my spider bite's almost gone. It's finally fading out. Thank goodness. Um, Yesterday, uh, the girlfriend took my pics of like progress or whatever, and I did not like when I look in the mirror for a couple of seconds. I can't tell a difference, but um, the pictures helped. I couldn't really see a lot of difference between April and May's pictures, but June's pictures, it's like, oh wow. um, the 3 inches less wide is much more noticeable in the pictures. So, if anyone, I don't know, is trying to change your shape or look more the trans shape that you would like to look or whatever, and you're not taking like progress pictures each month and things like that, do it. Um, it definitely helped. I I was very surprised. Also, my neck is standing up more straight. I because of being you know, curled up most of my life. Um, have like had an issue where most people's neck it it's kind of like up, but it has like a little curve in it, and my neck doesn't have a curve, and it also just like folds forward, um, like significantly. Like it was probably at a like almost parallel angle to my shoulders. And it is significantly less like that. So, if you have like a hunch in your back, or you're not trans, but you wish you looked less hunchy, it is possible with consistent, um, exercise to alleviate that and have, a straighter neck and a straighter shoulders and stuff. Apparently, it is totally possible. So, hey. Um, Last night we had, we downed the Ahead of the Curve achievement in, um, Raid in World of Warcraft. Again, we've already done it before, but we got another person to mount. So we just invited a whole bunch of people to come do a bunch of earlier raid bosses with us just for fun because we felt like it, to help random guildies get gear and all that. Anyway, we were doing that, and for the first time, we invited multiple guildies to come hang out and stuff, and no one misgendered me. Um, uh, Usually, because of my voice, people misgender me a lot, and it's always like, and I don't know, it's it's hard constantly having to remind people, especially when you don't feel like you would pass, or I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's unfair to ask people to call me a he when I haven't started anything medically yet. But at the same time, I have started transitioning. I mean, I picked out a name, and I've been exercising every day trying to get more masculine shaped, and I am starting to have muscle, when I flex, not just in my like arm, like, but also Like, I have this muscle going on like pretty decently now, and I have muscles like over my rib cage, like on the sides and on the front, like that are showing up pretty decently, which is like, oh, but it's only when I flex. The rest of the time I still look pretty heavy, but still, it's like those weren't there before. I never had those before, so getting muscle like that is neat. And then also, my boobs are a little smaller, which is also really neat. It's like uh, you can see more of your chest because there's less covering it up, and it's a little, it's a little less sticky outy when I wear a sports bra. Like before, I'd put on a sports bra and it didn't make a single lick of difference because my boobs were too big. But now they don't poke out as much, so that's also kind of nice. Because I always thought there was no point in me ever getting a binder because it would never work. And I mean, if I keep exercising and stuff, maybe someday I could do that, um, and actually start to pass. Um, which is like, oh, um, so that's exciting too. Um, I mean, life's not perfect. Again, I have a very busy day today, but at the same time, at least there's finally like visible progress going on with my body after all this exercising. Like, I started doing, essentially calisthenics on January 8th, and it's June 15th, and I'm finally to the point where I can notice like results shifting and stuff. I've been eating more protein, which I think is helping as well. But yeah, it's a relief. It's a relief for sure. Like an unexpected one, because I don't really expect a lot of great things out of life or whatever. But yeah, we're hopefully getting somewhere. My spouse's psych issues have been a little better, and that's something, um, that's helped too because I'm not just non-stop exhausted. So that's a big deal. And my girlfriend, she's still super supportive, and she's been trying to do her stuff more consistently, which I appreciate. And that's been helping me not having to constantly try to check and see did she follow through or not with, you know, her internship stuff and her college stuff and her appointments and therapy stuffs, and did she pick up after herself stuff and all of that, because her parents didn't raise her to do any of that. Her parents, I don't understand the way they raised her at all. So they basically raised her to be super competitive and non-functional at the same time. And e- she has to be in competition with every single other person. If she's not the best person at something in the room, then she's automatically a failure, while at the same time being incapable of doing anything that is self-sustaining or self-sufficient. And it's like, why would you raise your kid to be like that? And obviously she has a severe anxiety disorder because they raised her that way. So don't raise your kid that way. messes them up. But yeah, but I don't know. It's obviously I love her for more than that. She's supportive, but it does help. I don't know. I don't find it weird to be polyamorous. Um, I mean, it helps some that my spouse is an asexual and there's only two people actually doing anything. There's not three people doing anything in the bedroom. Um, but also, I don't know, we all fit really decently well together most of the time. Every once in a while, the girls get fighty with each other. Um, and much less often I get fighty with the girls, but uh, they, I don't know, set each other off. They both have sister issues. They both have complicated issues about their sisters, so maybe that's part of why. Um, but I mean, for the most part, we're just a family, and I don't know. Being poly was like it's my spouse's thing that she takes great pride in because it was actually her idea. She she came out to me a month before we got married as an asexual, and I was like, yeah, I already knew. I could tell. And she's like, how? And I'm like, the lack of sex. And then, you know, how uncomfortable you are with sex or, you know, even discussing it or things like that and stuff. And she's just like, I didn't know until, you know, such and such. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I've known pretty much almost the whole time I've known you. And she was just like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, I don't push people. My best friend was gay for 10 years before you know, she came out to me as a lesbian. And I was like, I knew. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, because I don't push people. I mean, it's it's not going to be significant to you unless you come to the conclusion yourself. But yeah, so well, I had no problems with my spouse coming out to me as asexual, but then we got married, and a month later, she said, "So on my asexual support site, a lot of asexuals are well polyamorous, and I think I'm polyamorous, and I think we should be polyamorous." And I was like, "No." And it took me um, over 6 months before I I even would start to entertain her requests. I thought my spouse has a tendency to either say something and then totally forget it a few days later or a couple months later, or else she's just obsessed. And it has to be that way. And I thought, oh, she'll forget this. No, she was obsessed every single day. So, are you going to make us a profile? Can you put us on a dating website? Are we going to. And I'm just like, you realize that I'm not comfortable with this, right? And she's autistic. She can't always tell things like that. So, I I finally did. I put us up on a dating website. She was so excited. I was like, sure, I'll do this because no one's gonna respond, and no one did respond. So, but I was part of a guild on Guild Wars 2 um, that was LGBT friendly and part of an LGBT community and stuff. And uh, I had a crush on this girl with my wife's permission because she wanted me to be crushing on people. She wanted us to be poly. Um, and turns out the girl had a crush on us and ended up being our girlfriend. And we'd all known each other and stuff for like a year before we ever started dating and stuff and just been friends. And I don't know, it all went very smoothly. Like the dating profile thing and stuff didn't matter at all. We all were drawn to each other just naturally or whatever, just being around each other. Um, I had no idea she had a crush on us, and she had no idea that I had a crush on her. And of course, my spouse being the way that she is, she just blurted out about everybody's crushes, and because she wanted everyone to have a crush on each other, so it worked out. And we had a mutual friend who wanted to push us together. Actually, we had a couple of mutual friends who wanted to push us together. Anyway, because we were we we were we fit, and when people fit, they fit. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I became poly years ago. It was, I don't know, just sort of when my spouse first told me she wanted to be poly, I was just like dead set against it. I have this issue about wanting to be a good person, right? Well, a good person doesn't cheat, but it wasn't cheating because she was giving me permission, but I still felt like it would be disloyal, and I had complicated feelings about that because I didn't want to be a bad spouse or whatever. I had already been completely open to the swearing off sex for the rest of my life thing. Um, Not because I dislike sex. I very much like sex, but because I wanted my spouse to know she was worth it. That, you know, she was, having her in my life was more important than me having fun. I could just masturbate forever. But that's not what she wanted, and that's not actually what I wanted. It was just my way of trying to show her she mattered. But she wanted to live in best friend because I am a little introverted. She sometimes needs more attention and understanding than I can give every second. I will sometimes not be that great at interpersonal things. Um, like she just wants to tell big long stories, and I'm like, can we get to the point? Are we done with this story? And she just likes to gab, and I'm not a big gabber. um, and she wanted me not to have sworn off sex for the rest of my life, and to have that kind of intimacy. And she people like to be like, oh, she's developmentally behind other people, and she has all these disorders, and she's special needs, and they think she's stupid because of that. But she's actually very intuitive sometimes. Sometimes she's wise. She's not stupid. She just takes time and repetition to get something. She might not get it right away. I had to become a teacher when I married my spouse. Well, when I started dating my spouse, but it's like she's not stupid. Anyway, I need to get off of here. Oh my gosh. I gotta get my spouse up so we can do her appointments. Um, yeah, so I'm off to a long day, but at least I visibly could see progress in the picture. That gives me hope that next month maybe I'll be able to see progress in the picture.